Hi, everyone. Welcome on board. Today is going to be a webinar a little bit slightly on the fly because I'm traveling and I had to make a stop here. We have a couple of minutes to go, so we're going to wait before we start. And as always, we're going to start sharp on the dot 2 o'clock. Sorry, guys. Those of you who have just joined, we are just waiting until it is exactly 2 o'clock and we're going to start. We are just waiting for the last people to come in. Glad to see so many people here. Well in time. I hope you had a good week. As I said, I'm traveling here. I'm actually doing this from my car. I had to slide over to the other seat because I couldn't find a quiet place to do the webinar in. Sometimes you get these logistical challenges. As many of you have seen, we have had a lot of activity in terms of token transfers that are running very smoothly now, I'm pleased to say. And on today's webinar, I'm going to talk about some of the resolution to the trading issues that we had. I think I told you about the marketing issues with the liquidity distribution that we had problems with last week. It's been taking all week here to finally get that. So it is 13:59. We don't want to be unfair to those who haven't joined yet. I did look at the wrong watch, so I came online a little bit too early. That doesn't mean we have to be late though. So give this a little bit more time, and at 2 o'clock we're going to start out. So hope you guys had a good week. The concept of a mobile office is of course great. The cups are a little bit more papery, but other than that, okay. So it is 2 o'clock, guys. Welcome. As I said, I am out traveling. I made a stop in my car so I could hold the webinar because I found a quiet place, I thought, and then there was a lot of kids coming screaming there, so I had to step out here. So bear with me. I'm holding my laptop as still as I can. So it's a Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock, update webinar for Likquid and for Pernum from Dragon. I'm going, as always, to talk a little bit about some strategic points going on right now. And after that, we're going to address questions, a Q&A session. So let us start looking at some of the issues that we are still dealing with. We have now resolved all the token transfers. Token transfers are fully operational and running, which is great. Obviously, there's always one or two small issues somewhere, which are special cases, but all in all, the tech is working fine, which means that now we can tick off the next box, which is to bring in liquidity to World Equity Expo and to start shipping out cards and all that. Now, this becomes easier at this point. As you guys know, last week I told you that we did have a bit of a problem with the liquidity provisioning for World Equity Expo. We had been working on a project and a partnership for a couple of weeks, and we had actually started up bringing people in, and then it came to a standstill. Very, very frustrating. It took a lot of time and resources from us, so we had to start over. What I am pleased to say is that we have now fixed not that partnership, but we have a new distribution channel that we are putting in place, which means that we will start and resume the marketing for World Equity Expo Monday, Tuesday. We are actually targeting hundreds of millions of people in doing this, which means that we bring in external liquidity, which I know many of you are waiting for. And as we are doing this, we are then activating what should have happened 3 weeks ago, the new listings. I can say we actually have 4 listings coming up. One is called Punk Industries, another is called Incubated, we have one called Liberate, and we have VMT, which is also brought in by Parnum. So the beauty of these is obviously that this is going to activate the use of Likquid. And we are actually seeing what day we're going to launch each one of those. But it is very important because now we have, now we actually can do proper use of this. So this brings me to the liquid asset management. I have promised you this for quite some time, and we have been trying to finish so that you can exit from liquid asset management, which is now happening. I'm on a call with tech after this call, so it's happening now in the next day or two. And that means once you do that and you exit, you also get your 20% extra upon withdrawal. You will actually get your liquid tokens free to use as well, which means that you can use them in our ecosystem, and there will be actually free exchanges of 100% liquid to options and shares starting very soon. So because of this, and because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of questions on that specifically, and that is only natural because this is obviously how you make money, I am doing an extra webinar about the new equity and the use of Likquid this coming Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We're going to focus only on that. So 2 o'clock, same time as now, Central European time on Tuesday, we're going to do a webinar specifically on equity, on use of Likquid. And by then it will be free and up and running. Secondly, as you guys remember, we had the competition, which was very exciting. We had these two beautiful projects. I didn't want to choose between them, so we were going to list both. And they are actually coming up on Thursday, 2 o'clock next week. We're going to do a specialized webinar, especially on those two, where we're going to look at the various details of those. So 2 o'clock CET next Thursday. We're going to announce both of these. Moving on, we have a new support module now since a week ago with a ticket system that is replacing Zendesk and all of that. So now you go into the ticket system in Dragon, and there we actually have all your information, so we can help you much faster. As I can see it, it's working very, very well. We are helping you guys faster. We're not perfect yet because we're only getting warmed up and getting the system working fully. But as I see it, it's very efficient, because when you put it in, we actually have all your details, your account. It's much easier to help you fast as well. Plus, we have one new resource working for us on this. So that's what's gone on this week. I am going to move on to some questions, and I'm going to start with some questions that were brought to us by our country managers. So very good ones as always. They curate the questions, obviously. So here's one question. My address has changed since my approval of the Pernum KYC, but I have approved this address with Dragon KYC. So where is the ordered IBAN and card being sent to? That is an excellent question. It is going to be sent to the Dragon KYC. To oversimplify and make it super, super clear, it's going to be sent to the last KYC you did. So if the only one you did was in Pernum, that is where it's going to be sent. Otherwise, it's going to be sent to the most recent one. Also, another question here is people do not understand the relationship between Likquid and EQT. This is absolutely right. The EQT token was actually brought into the ecosystem as a currency in the beginning. But because the pricing became so complicated, because you had to convert an equity to EQT to euros or dollars or BTC, we actually removed that as a middle step. And EQT is now being repositioned as a reward coin for those of you who participate in the marketing. And this is actually a good thing they brought that up. We're going to be on the 2 o'clock call on Tuesday. Another question, when is Dragon going to allow it to convert euros to dollars and vice versa? That is actually live now since a couple of days ago. So you can now do that live in the system. Okay, also, let us see here. We have another question here on the power staking program. It is not mandatory to stake 50-50 in Likquid and dollars. Yes, actually it is mandatory. When we started this, it wasn't mandatory, and the reason for that was that we wanted to allow people to choose. But we actually need the Likquid tokens, or the YAM actually, that we exchange them for, in order to make that model work. So it is actually fixed 50-50 model. Another question, can you go back from Likquid back to Likquid Y and to YAM in an easy way in the next future? Yes. It will be a very easy way to do that, and that is that you can actually buy back your YAM using Likquid at a market price. This is going to be implemented in the Pernom wallet. Now, moving on, and I apologize for the moving laptop here. Like I said, I am traveling, so I'm having to do this on the fly. Looking through some of your questions. Joao, thank you for writing. I apologize for not having replied to your message before. I am struggling with too many messages right now, but believe me, I see you and I will get back. So I really appreciate everybody reaching out. Now, Joao's question here is that some people are waiting very long for KYC. And I will be honest with you guys, we were overwhelmed with how many people came in. We have over 10,000 KYCs we're working through. So we had one person working in the back office doing this. We have hired 2 more doing this an extra time. And we're very careful with our KYC because we have to. So we're doing 2 things. We're speeding that up in terms of pre-scanning some of these things. We're also talking to the Pernom people about possibly using their KYC and transport over if that's possible legally, so we can shorten this down. But because we do this, we have also changed so you can start using your whole wallet and everything before the KYC is done, but you need to KYC before you withdraw any money, because that is where we are legally required to do this for anti-money laundering. So let's see what more questions we have here. Where can we track the price of the VMT token? So VMT just went live inside the Pernom wallet, and we are preparing to put it out on the World Equity Expo. So at this point, it is in the Pernom wallet, but it will be outside as well. Another question here. This is an excellent one. We've been going back and forth on this. Is it possible to integrate all 3 platforms, World Equity Expo, Pernom, and Dragon? We are actually working on that. They're not going to merge into one platform, but we're working on integrating the login so it's smooth between the 3. So, and that is a priority. Obviously, people go mad having different logins. So I agree with you. Another good question here. How can all these activities bring liquidity to Likquid token if the main currency of the platform is equity? Well, I was a little bit unclear. The EQT token I was talking about before. Main currency on the platform is depending on which asset you're trading. So for instance, Unicorn is trading in dollars. Another one is trading in euros. The key to bring liquidity is to bring in people and to obviously have valuable real product, which we have. And this is why I'm excited about the new equities coming out next week. Another question here, merger, yes. So here is an interesting thing. So I sound like a broken record on this one. We were waiting for the court last week, remember? And we were waiting, and we have been calling, and we have been chasing, and we've been chasing notaries. Eventually, we managed to be annoying enough, so somebody replied to us from the court on Thursday and found out that there was a problem, because in Germany, there is an exception when you call a shareholders meeting. Because of COVID, you can do it virtually online. So because of this, they couldn't record all the bits when it came to the voting in the right way. This is actually according to the court. our lawyer did it properly. So they are meeting on Monday. He's actually going to the court on Monday to get this resolved. If that is resolved that day, then we're good to go. So we are very frustrated about this taking that time, and hopefully it is finished soon. Another question here is, well, actually, how far is the reverse takeover? So that is the thing. We're only waiting for this court hearing, and then it will be, or a court approval. And once that is done, then we can continue. And that means that Balance Pay will come into play as well. Another thing here that is a recurring theme, I'm just looking here, is the liquidity of the liquid token, like I said. So again, I want to clarify, guys, the important thing in bringing in liquidity is obviously to have product that people want, so you can trade the product using the liquid token. That's number one. Number two is obviously to bring people in as well. And not only us as holders, but you bring in external market. That is why it's so positive that we're going to start the marketing next week, replacing the distribution channel we were going to do before. I have a question here about Pernum Pay. What about Pernum Pay? Well, if you could clarify that question, I would appreciate that. Pernum Pay is a functionality inside Pernum to allow retailers to use YAM to pay. Dragon is not involved in that at all. We might be using that for one or two applications, but we are actually not a party in that. Another question. I sent Ether from Binance to Dragon. When will I receive this? Well, usually when you send Ether, depending on which what priority you set, it can be anything between 1 minute and 1 hour. If it is longer than that, if it's not today, then there's something wrong. I would either check if Binance has asked you any questions, or I would, and if it has gone out, take your TXID and send to our support, create a ticket. They will be able to track this. Okay, another question. All of this is usually so complicated to understand. Can we have written documents and procedures? Yes, this is a very good point. That has been my intention for a very, very long time, because obviously verbal updates like this is not good enough. So as soon as things are stopping to move in terms of development, we will do that. I completely agree we need to do that. Another question, how do I transform Bitcoin into US dollars to participate in the staking inside Dragon? If you top up your account with BTC, inside the BTC account, you can actually click exchange, and there you can change it to US dollars. And that is live actually as of just a couple of days ago, so now it is working. Another question here, which crypto to be used to move assets from Dragon to World Equity Expo? It is Ethereum. Ethereum is always the fuel. I think we need to clarify that inside the system as well, but that is the one we're using. Okay, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for being here, and watch out for the 2 extra webinars next week. We're going to see some movement. We are going to work on these procedures as well. Thanks for joining. Have a lovely weekend, guys, wherever you are. Take care.